My name is Zanetta Walthour, and this is my mother, Ada Walthour. We are residents of Norwood Lane in Fort Washington, Maryland, in Prince George's County. Our family has resided at this property for 37 years. Behind my mother is the county's easement for stormwater drainage, which has had some recent repairs but ultimately has eroded our property and has proven inadequate to deal with the high volume of stormwater draining into the ravine. While we are not opposed to the building of new schools to accommodate our students' needs, we are opposed to the proposed K through 8 site, which will have a catastrophic impact on a stormwater infrastructure that is already overwhelmed. When we first moved here, our property line was filled with trees and included a sitting area by the water. As you can see, we also had a playground, or a swing set rather. However, as Fort Washington has developed, the amount of stormwater exiting the 6-foot manhole has increased and eroded our property. That erosion, coupled with the county's most recent repairs, has left us with the picture you see behind my mother today. The two pictures on the left are of some of the rapids caused by the heavy volume and high velocity of stormwater exiting the manhole. These were the rapids last year after the county had erected the black tarp and installed the rocks that you saw behind my mother. The middle pictures are of trees that appeared healthy on the outside but were rotting from the inside out. In many cases, there was such great erosion that the tree roots were exposed. And so in spring of last year, 2020, the county came and removed the trees, some of which were at risk of falling on homes. In June of 2018, the amount of stormwater exiting the county's easement in our backyard was of such a high degree that the water began to back up into the street, flooding Norwood Lane with at least 2.5 feet of water. As you can see, the stormwater was running along our driveway and our neighbors' driveways. At the time, our van was parked on the street just to the left of the scene in front of you. We had a Bronability conversion van with a lowered floor and an electric ramp, which we used to transport my brother who had profound disability. The stormwater flooding the street flooded our van and totaled it. We were instructed to submit a claim to the county's insurer, Corvell. Sadly, Corvell rejected our claim, calling it an act of God, and we had to replace the van at cost to us. The flooding in 2018 was not limited to our address, but flooded the lower portions of Norwood Lane and the intersection with Surrey Circle. This is what the street looked like in 2018. And this is a picture of the flooding that recurred in August 2020. You can see a vehicle trying to navigate Norwood Lane at the very point in which there are two storm drains, one on each side of the street. Yet this is the river that we experienced yet again as a result of the overwhelmed stormwater infrastructure. The infrastructure cannot handle the additional stormwater that will result from the draining of the wetlands to build the proposed K through 8 school.
When we arrived here shortly in 1984, the people from the county began coming here every month, and they were here looking at this easement behind us. They continued through the years, and I was talking to them about why were they here, what was wrong, and they were saying to me that they had a vine that was up on the embankment, that as long as it remained there, there would be no problem. And the vine began to disappear, and the flooding continued. It continued. We had a river here every year, and I've heard them speak of the 100-year flood. We have had the water running throughout the wooded area every year since we came here. It overflowed the easement. The ravine is eroding our sources.
How?
It is threatening to unearth the sewer system.
The sewer system sits perpendicular to the ravine, and as the ravine current is running, as rapids are running along the ravine, it is eroding the property coming in toward the sewer line, and so it is endangering the sewer line.
And so it has continued. And now here we are 37 years later, and we are still here with the same problems, except it's gotten worse. What they did out in the back of me, the rapids are so great, and it fills up to the point that anything that gets in there is definitely going to drown. They can't get out. I need this easement fixed.
We sat down with several neighbors who all live here on Swan Creek Road, and they shared similar concerns. In fact, several homeowners tell me they can't use their finished basement because of how often it floods. They showed us these images just in the last couple of years where you can see the water pouring in through their basement window and their backyards turned into swimming pools.
The main sewer line on Swan Creek Road backed up into my basement. So I had a basement full of sewage.
Every time it rains like this, are you kind of on edge?
Oh, absolutely. Every cloud in the sky.
They say the flooding issues caused by aging infrastructure and all of the recent developments, and now they're concerned the flooding could get worse with plans to build a school here in this neighborhood. In a statement posted online, District 8 Council member Monique Anderson Walker asked for a comprehensive study to be done before construction begins.